Today we're going to be doing Module 2, Lesson 16. The objective of today's lesson is to add measurements using the standard algorithm to compose larger units twice. Yesterday we were only composing larger units once. Now we're going to see what it looks like when we have to do it 2 times in one problem. The materials needed for today are your online whiteboard or your whiteboard dry erase marker and dry eraser. And we're going to continue to follow the teaching style where I do it, we do it together, and then you do it on your own. First up, we have a fluency, similar to the one that we practiced yesterday. Okay, practicing again rounding. So what is 27 rounded to the nearest 10? I'm going to go ahead and set up the vertical number line for you. And then I want you to message me your answer in Go Guardian. Okay, as you can see, I set up my vertical number line. There's a 2 in the tens place, and we're looking in the tens place because we're rounding to the nearest 10. So I kept that 2 and have a 0 in the ones place. The top number has to be 1 10 more. 2 plus 1 is 3, so that's how we got to 3 tenths. And then our halfway point, we keep the same number that's in the tens place down here, and it ends with the 5. Now we need to figure out where 27 goes. 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. I'm going to put a point right there on 27. You can see that 27 is above the halfway point, which means we round up to the number on top, which is 30. So, what is 27 rounded to the nearest 10? 27 rounds to 30. Next one, what is 517 rounded to the nearest 100? So now we're rounding to the nearest 100, which means you should be looking into the hundreds place when you're making your vertical number line. Go ahead and message me your answer in Go Guardian when you have it. Okay, so you can see on my vertical number line, I labeled my bottom number as 500 because I have a 5 in the hundreds place. 5 hundreds plus 100, 5 plus 1 is 6. That's what gave me my 6 hundreds at the top. For my halfway point, I keep the number that's in the hundreds place, which is a 5. And then I just put that 50 on the end there, because remember, 50 is halfway between 0 and 100. So it'll always end in 50. Now I need to figure out where 517 is. Okay, so I'll be looking at for 51 tens, which is 510. 500, 510, 520, 530, 540, 550, 560, 570, 580, 590, 600. I found my 510 down here, so I know that my point is after that, but not past 520. So that would be where my 517 is. I can see that that point is below my halfway, which means I round down to the bottom number, which is 500. So 517 rounds to 500. Now you can go ahead and put down your whiteboards for a minute and watch the example that I'm going to show you. We're going to do 52 milliliters plus 68 milliliters. Okay, we're going to be using the standard algorithm to stack them and add them. So first I'm going to rewrite my problem, just like we did yesterday. Making sure that the 2 and the 8 and the 1's place are on top of each other, and the 5 and the 6 and the 10's place are right on top of each other. I'm going to do my hundreds chart once again, just like we did yesterday. Hundreds place, 10's place, 1's place. Remember, make sure you're watching, because this example still will be a little bit different from yesterday once we get to the adding part. My first number is 52, which is 5 10s and 2 1s. There's my 5 10s and my 2 1s. So that's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 51, 52. My next number is 68, which is 6 10s and 8 1s. Once I get to 5, I start a new row. 2, 3, 4, 5, start a new row. 6, 7, 8. So this is 68, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68. So I have 52 plus 68. I'm going to start over in the ones. I'm going to start counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Once I get to 10, I can take those 10 ones and trade them over here for 110. These are gone now, okay? And there's 0 left over here, okay? There's no more 1s left. Now, over on my standard algorithm problem, okay, I did 2 plus 8, which equaled 10. So here's the 1 that I moved over to the 10's place, which is this one here. And here is the 0 that's left in the 1's. Now let's go ahead and add up the 10's place. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. I'm going to take those 10 tens, trade them over here for 100. These are now gone. We have 2 tens left. Let's come over here and look at our problem. We had 5 plus 6 plus 1, which equaled 12. Okay, so we moved 1 over here to the hundreds place. And we had 2 left in the tens place. So we put that down in our answer. Now we just have to count our hundreds. Well, there's just 1 over here. And if you look at our problem, we just have that 1 on the line. So we're just going to put that down here in our answer. And you can see that 52 plus 68 equals 120 milliliters. Okay, so by regrouping twice, that means that we get to more than 10 in any column and we have to trade it over to the next column, okay? And I really like how this visual helps with getting used to that standard algorithm. All right, let's go ahead and do an example where I want you to try it with me. Okay, so this time we'll go a little bit slower so that you can be writing at the same time. So go ahead and pick up your whiteboards, and the first thing we're going to is rewrite the equation. 506 centimeters plus 94 centimeters. So 506 plus, and this is really important, the 9 needs to be under the 0 because the 9 is in the tens place, 94. So the 6 is above the 4 because they're both in the ones place. The 0 is above the 9 because they're both in the tens place. And the 5 is on its own over there because it's the only hundreds that we have. So go ahead and rewrite that problem, and then we're just going to get our hundreds chart ready. I'm going to give you a minute just to get that caught up, and then we'll start drawing our numbers. If you feel confident about drawing your numbers and you want to get started on that, you can. Okay, first let's draw 506, 5 hundreds, 0 tens, 6 ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hundreds, 0 tens, so I'm not going to write anything in the tens, and 6 ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, start a new row, 6. Go ahead and check that your 506 matches mine. Next, we're going to do 94. So that's 9 tens and 4 ones. So we don't have any hundreds. So I'm going to go right over to the tens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Start a new row. 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 tens. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 4 ones. So right now, my hundreds chart has 506 plus 94. Okay, now let's go ahead and start adding them together. Step 1, start in the ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we're going to take these 10, trade it over here for 110. So these are gone. And we have 0 ones left in the ones column right now. Let's see what that looks like in our standard algorithm. Over here we did 6 plus 4, it equaled 10. So we're going to put the 1 from the tens place over here in the tens, and the 0 over here in the ones for our answer, because there are 0 ones left. And you can see how 6 plus 4 equals 10, and this kind of looks like a 10 right there, okay? Now let's go ahead and add up the tens place. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, and we know that's really like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. So we're going to take those 100, trade it for 100, and get rid of these. Okay, so we took 10 tens and traded it for 100. You can see there's 0 tens left. Now let's look at how that looks in our standard algorithm. We did 0 plus 9 plus 1, which equaled 10. Okay, so let's put the 1 here that we moved over to the hundreds, and the 0 here, because there's 0 tens left. And you can see once again how that kind of looks like a 10 right here. Now all that we have left is to add our hundreds. 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600s. So I'm going to go ahead and put that 6, because I have 600s over here. So 506 centimeters plus 94 centimeters equals 600 centimeters. Okay. And just like yesterday, I have another example for you, because this one is really important for you to be able to practice physically over and over again. So we're going to practice it one more time. Go ahead and make sure you erase your whiteboard. And we're going to start with rewriting this problem as the standard algorithm, stacking and adding it. 697 plus 138. Make sure that the 7 is on top of the 8, because they're both in the ones place. The 9 on top of the 3, because they're both in the tens place. and the 6 on top of the 1 because they're both in the hundreds place. Then we're going to go ahead and draw our hundreds chart. Get that ready. Give you just a little bit longer to make sure you have that set up and ready so we can start drawing our numbers. Okay, let's go ahead and start with our first number, which is 697. 600, 9 tens, 7 ones. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, new row, 6 hundreds, 9 tens, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's our 9 tens and 7 ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 697. I'll give you just a minute to get that caught up. Okay, now let's go ahead and draw our next number, 138. So I need 100, 3 tens, 8 ones. Here's 100. 1, 2, 3 tens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, new row, 6, 7, 8 ones. 138. I'll give you another moment to get that drawing caught up. Make sure it matches mine before we start adding them together. Okay, let's start adding these together. Step 1, start in the ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to take those 10 ones and trade them over here for 1 10. So these are gone. I traded 10 ones for 1 10. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ones left in the ones place. So I moved over 1 10 over here, and I have 5 ones left. Over here on our standard algorithm, that was 7 plus 8, which equaled 15. So we have the 1 over here, which we moved to the tens place, and the 5 left over in the ones place. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and add up the tens place. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Circle those. Trade it over here for 100. These are gone now. So we took 10 tens and we traded it for 100. We have 1, 2, 3 tens left. So over here on our standard algorithm, we did 9 plus 3 plus 1, which equaled 13. So we're going to put the 1 over here in the hundreds that we moved, and the 3 down here that we have left in the tens. Okay, and now we're at our last step, which is counting the hundreds. 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800. We have 8 hundreds. Over here in the standard algorithm, you can see we did 6 plus 1 plus 1, and that equaled 8 hundredths. So 697 grams plus 138 grams equals 835 grams. Okay, so what's really nice about doing these two side by side is you can see how it's really working. And eventually, as you get better at this standard algorithm, you may be able to stop drawing the hundreds chart, okay? But for now, we're going to keep doing it as long as it's helping you. So that brings us to our homework that you're going to be doing on your own. It's an IXL skill C1, which is add 2 numbers up to 3 digits, okay? Some of them you will need to regroup once, some of them you'll regroup twice, some of them you won't have to regroup at all, okay? It does set them up very nicely with the hundreds and the tens and the ones lined up on top of each other. Remember, your first step is to always start in the ones. So if I were looking at this problem over here, I'd be starting with 0 plus 0, okay, which is 0. So you would type that number in, okay? You might notice that they don't give you a hundreds to draw on. So what you might want to do is get out your whiteboard and solve the problem on your whiteboard before you put the answer into IXL, okay? All right, go ahead and get started. Once again, please make sure you ask questions while I am here to be able to help, because this is something that, once again, we're going to continue to build on for the rest of this module.